Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters FPL podcast. Not FPL that's on the agenda for today, something very topical, and that's, of course, the European Super League. But before we get into that, just a quick reminder to subscribe to us on YouTube, the Big Hitters FPL, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Big Hitters FPL, and to also join our Fantasy Premier League. The code to join is 01TOQK. We've got the Big Hitters squad back together. I'm Noah. I've got Jake and Ludo back. Hello, guys.
Hello.
So,
Nice to be back.
Nice to have you back. Let's get straight into it then. This is, of course, talking about the European Super League, which was confirmed in the early hours of Monday morning. And this is, of course, 6 of the major English teams and 12 in total European giants moving to this breakaway European League, which has been confirmed now. The teams have agreed to join it, and the reaction has not been a very good one. The Premier League, the FA, the UEFA, FIFA, all furious. Fans of all the clubs, absolutely furious. So we're here today to just sort of digest it and talk about it, discuss it and debate it. So hope you enjoy this type of video and make sure to like and subscribe. So let's get right into it. So just generally, are you guys happy about this? I can't imagine you are.
no, I don't think any of us know of any supporters of the Super League, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gutted that my club, Chelsea, have decided to join this. I mean, I thought we were better than this, to be honest. And again, I just think it's pure greed. It's about money. It's nothing else but money. And I think in time, when people are dying in countries and are struggling all around the world due to this pandemic, these giants have just decided to gather together and create a league all about money. No competition, no relegation, no promotion, nothing. And I think that's just really disappointing from my point of view. And it seems like it might go ahead, where the punishments will, overturn the club's decisions is a big question. But I think we should all really be against this. Even if you don't support a Big Six side, you don't support a Premier League side, it does affect you because no money will be. If there are no Big Six sides in the Premier League, then there'll be a lack of money in it, and so and in the lower divisions as well. So it not only disrupts the big leagues but the smaller leagues.
Yeah, I agree. I think the timing of it in particular is just really frustrating and completely just disgraceful because obviously in the midst of a coronavirus pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, and an economic crisis, I suppose, and these 6 of the richest clubs, 12 of the richest clubs in Europe, are just making themselves even richer in a time where poor clubs are fading away, they're going bust, and particularly the thing that surprised me the most is that it's supposed to happen. That these consequences are happening right now. We've still got half the season to play, or not half the
Yeah.
season, but we've still got a good majority of important matches left to play. So I just think the timing of it really, really annoys me.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not the managers obviously who are making all these decisions. It's the owners of the club who are kind of hiding behind the managers who are kind of the face of the club, and they just don't care about the game at all. They're just in it for the money.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I were one of those managers, I'd be very angry because I wouldn't be able to control the situation. I don't know what's going on, so I'd be very angry. Plus, not all the players will want to play in the Super League. They might be faced with punishments like not being able to play for their country, which in some cases is quite a big thing. So, big summer signings that many clubs have made might just suddenly go away, and that would be very that'd be very that'd be very strange and hard to take.
Yeah, I was gonna say about these punishments, these consequences. It's a really hard thing to judge because you've got the Premier League, you've got FIFA threatening these punishments. We know of threats to, as you say, ban players from playing World Cup or the Euros. From the Premier League, threatening to remove these clubs from the Premier League completely, and they'll have to restart in the fifth division, I think it is. And then obviously UEFA threatening to ban from the Champions League. But um, I'm interested as to what you guys think about whether those are just threats or whether they actually would be prepared to perform them. Because if you think about it, um, the potential consequences for the Premier League, for UEFA, and for FIFA, if, say, for example, the six big clubs in the Premier League are no longer there, if the Champions League is made up of Burnley and rubbish Spanish teams and rubbish French teams, and if the World Cup, is without Messi, is without the big players from the big clubs, do you think they'd
Yeah.
actually be prepared to force these measures, or is it just a threat?
Yeah, I think it's probably unlike. Well, it probably depends what happens over the next few hours and couple of days. If clubs, I don't know, back out of the deal, or it'll be interesting to see what happens. But at the moment, it seems everyone's really angry at all the big six and all the clubs trying to join the Super League. And at the moment, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Jake and Noah. I think it's quite hard to imagine putting a club like Liverpool in the fifth division because it would just destroy the division completely. It would just wipe it out. There'd be Liverpool would thrash everyone. So it'd be quite disruptive. Yeah, and I'm very disappointed. I still can't believe it, to be honest. I didn't see this coming so fast. Um, but I think it just destroys football as a whole. I think the reason that people prioritize the Champions League and watch the Champions League so much, and why I care about it a lot, especially now that Chelsea are in the semi-finals, is because how often does a match like Chelsea Real Madrid or a match like Man City PSG happen? It happens once or twice every couple of years. But if there's Chelsea playing Real Madrid almost every season, every week, then it just seems like a normality, and it just takes away everything. And yeah, I think with the fans, I mean, they haven't really had, they've gone through lockdown and everything, and now they've got to go through this, which is quite hard to digest. One thing I would say is that the German clubs are 51% owned by fans. So even if even say if Bayern Munich, if the owner of Bayern Munich wants to join this league, if the majority of the fans do disagree, then nothing will happen. And yeah, I just really hope that these clubs will pull out of this because it will destroy football.
Yeah,
Like you say, the normality of having these huge games. I mean, obviously, you've got big clubs in the Premier League against each other: Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea. But this is obviously the biggest teams in Europe going head to head. And I mean, if obviously not recently because fans aren't allowed in the stadium, but the atmosphere at these games, this huge atmosphere in the Champions League, where you've got the biggest teams in Europe going head to head, it's not going to be the same. Football, if this goes ahead and all the teams join the Super League, then I mean, it's almost there's really. I mean, with no relegation as well, it's almost there's no emotion linked to the games anymore, really. If this goes through.
And the flip side of that is obviously, I'll say, I think I said it before, but a Premier League without Liverpool, without City, without United, without the six clubs is not a Premier League that people would want to watch.
Yeah,
And I'll just say something at a different point, just to throw it out there. And I'm in no way defending this idea, just to make that clear, because I don't think it's a good idea, and I think it's very damaging to football, and it's no football intentions in there. It's all about the money. But I will say that it's easy to get swept away by everyone's incredible reaction by this, and to just instantly think it's an awful idea, cancel it, get rid of it. But my personal opinion on this is that if you're looking at it as an idea, if you're looking at the Super League as an idea, its function is to just sort of be there alongside the Premier League as a midweek competition. So I think personally, and again, I'm not defending it, but if the Premier League came to an agreement and the Premier League continued alongside the Super League, I think it would work decently well, because I think you'd still get the competition of the Premier League, and you'd also get this added Super League. That's just what I think. But clearly, the Premier League are not having any of it. And
Yeah.
if
yeah.
But I mean, what about players getting rested and stuff? Because there'll only be a couple of days between Premier League and then Super League matches.
yeah, well,
I
you
mean,
had,
and we're always with the Champions League, obviously, not a few teams, but obviously with rotation, you'd imagine that the focus would be on the big games against the larger clubs, and almost Premier League, like I've been saying for the big clubs, Man City, that the Premier League wouldn't be as important to them.
yeah, you end
Yeah,
up with a situation where maybe if Man City have, Barcelona on a Wednesday and then Burnley on a Saturday, you end up with a really weak Man City lineup, and they're basically not taking the Premier League seriously.
yeah. I agree. I wouldn't use Man City exactly as an example
Yeah,
because
yeah,
their
good
squad
point.
depth is quite
Yeah.
is quite impressive. But if you look at a club like, I mean, even Man United, they haven't got the greatest squad depth.
Tottenham,
Yeah, Tottenham, Arsenal, they could really. I mean, it could really kill the Premier League. It wouldn't be as entertaining. But on the other side, if there's no competition in the Super League, then some clubs may even go for the Premier League, because what's going to happen in the Super League? Yeah, you win a bit of money, but nothing happens. There's no punishment, so you don't get relegated. So that'll be interesting. Interesting to see. One thing I will say is that one disappointing thing is that what will happen to the Champions League if the Super League happens midweek? All the attention will be focused on the Super League, and then the Champions League will sort of turn into a Europa League,
mm-hmm.
because that'll be a bit of a problem. And there'll be years of history just wiped out like that. Champions League is all about the history, and I just think, yeah, I mean, the Champions League anthem every time gives you goosebumps, and that sort of special feeling will be taken away, which is quite hard to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't see how the Champions League and Europa League can function well alongside the Super League. And then
Yeah.
the
It, yeah. Go on. Go on.
oh, I was just gonna put something else out there about Mourinho, but if you still wanna,
No, I was just going to say it may be that Big Six wouldn't be allowed to participate in Champions League, and it would be up to the smaller clubs, like who do get into Europa League. that now take up their places in the Champions League. And obviously, it wouldn't be, I would say, it wouldn't be as exciting football as it normally is, obviously, with the smaller clubs and small, not as well-known players. And it wouldn't really get watched as much. And like Ludo said, Champions League got this incredible history, and it's all, if the Super League goes ahead, then all the focus will be on that.
Yeah. So I just want to put out as a final point, Mourinho obviously did get sacked as well this morning. Quite the turn of events there. But I'll ask you guys what you think about it in a sec. But I just want to put out there because this really irritates me. These rumors going around that Mourinho was sacked because he stood up for the Super League and because he refused to train with the players because of all this controversy. I just want to just say that is completely and utterly fake, and it really annoys me that people on social media are now backing and defending and showing respect to Jose Mourinho because I don't think he deserves it. Maybe that's just me with my Arsenal bias, but I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
I, I think
yeah,
I think it's very convenient that he's been sacked in the wake of something very controversial like this.
Yeah.
It's very
yeah.
convenient
I
for
mean,
him.
I think something has happened definitely behind the scenes because you wouldn't necessarily sack a manager just before a big final, a chance for Tottenham to win a trophy finally, and something must have happened. And I think some people might say that he. I think even though it might seem fake, I can partially agree with the fact that I would be very irritated as a manager if I didn't have a choice and the owners would just put Tottenham or put any club in just a random league just for money. That just destroys football. And for Jose Mourinho, I think, yeah, I mean, perhaps he does deserve. Um, he is getting quite a lot of credit when actually this might be fake news. But yeah, I just think he's an excellent manager, and that um, that although it didn't work out for him, I think his CV just speaks for for him for itself.
Yeah.
So I think I think Mourinho and Tottenham didn't quite match. I think
Yeah.
Tottenham players didn't really fit his style. But I think it's quite strange that suddenly they've just sacked Mourinho. There might be something going going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen in Mourinho's interviews and elsewhere that he has very strong opinions and isn't easily convinced that and if something did go on behind the scenes, if there was a difference in interests, yeah, it'd be a big clash. So I don't know, maybe it looks like something might have happened.
Yeah. What I want to say, I know I don't want the video to be too long, but I just want to say that I firmly disagree with Ludo about Mourinho. And I saw a stat that he's now earned himself £93.5 million from sacking, £30 million from this Tottenham sacking that happened this morning. I just don't buy this whole good manager thing. I think he was a good manager in his day. I think at Tottenham he was abysmal, awful at Tottenham. I think, like I said, it's very convenient for him that he's been sacked now after Tottenham have had a bit of controversy, their owners under a bit of scrutiny. That's just my opinion. I think we'll end the video there on that jolly note. Stay tuned for a preview podcast of Game 33 Back to Fantasy coming in the next couple of days. Let us know your opinions about all this in the comments, and we'll see you in our next video. Goodbye.